Hello, everyone, and welcome to Big Data Technologies. My name is Dr. Alan Dennis, and I'll be your instructor during this course. Jumping straight into kind of the point. This course is about big data technologies, and in particular, we're going to be looking at things like Hadoop, MapReduce, Spark, all the kind of really popular and very compelling topics. And we'll be talking about how we got here, why they're so compelling, and why they're important for somebody that's going to be doing machine learning and advanced analytics to understand. We'll touch a little bit on things like how to tune and optimize and how to design in accordance so that you can have high performance doing this sort of analysis. So what is big data? And you'll think maybe at first it's just big, right? Not necessarily, although volume may be a characteristic of big data. Generally speaking, you'll hear people talk about things like three V's: volume, velocity, and variety. That basically means it's data that's too big, too fast, or too different, and from lots of different sources for it to be processed in traditional mechanisms in traditional ways. And that's basically a pretty good description. It is data that can't be done the way we used to do it with great big computers. Instead, we use distributed processing on commodity hardware with software that's smart enough to handle failures and planning for those failures to occur. It also refers and is linked with this concept of mashups, of pulling data in from lots of different sources, combining it together, and then producing value that was greater than all of the parts. So that's kind of the high level kind of what is big data. There's also, because of the nature of this sort of thing, there's lots of different levels of quality associated with the data. Veracity is what are the characteristics, and some people refer to four V's, veracity making the cut and becoming one of the kind of defining characteristics. So about me, a little bit. I won't go into a lot of detail, but I have a doctorate in computer science with a focus in big data analytics. I have a master's in computer science and a bachelor's in business administration with a concentration in computer information systems. I have a lovely wife, four adult children, and three and a half great or grandchildren. The half is kind of in process. We live out on, my wife and I, on a 74-acre farm. We have way too many animals. A few of them are pictured in the slide that you see on the screen. About my research interest, I serve as an advanced analytics architect, and I'll talk more about that in a moment. But that basically means that I work with things that don't fit into other characteristics very well. It's things beyond descriptive and dashboarding, and more things that deal with things like artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data in general, and also a few other things like Internet of Things, which is kind of a tangent and oftentimes a source for big data platforms. My concentration or my dissertation was on stream processing. I focused on the types of mistakes people make whenever they're defining the rules that are used during processing of streams. One of the topics we will touch on briefly in this course is structured streaming inside of Spark, though just barely. We don't do a whole lot with it. My day job, as I mentioned, I'm an advanced analytics architect. I work for a company called Avanade. It's a joint venture between Microsoft and Accenture, focused on enterprise customers. In particular, I do things in advanced analytics, and pretty much anything that has to do with machine learning, artificial intelligence, I may have a hand in. There's some of the icons of the companies I've worked for over the years. As you can see, I have trouble keeping a job. Moving on to why do I teach? Well, part of it is whenever you're teaching, you have to really understand things and you have to be able to articulate it in a way that goes beyond just a kind of a tertiary sort of knowledge. It's also a way to make yourself learn new things and perhaps cover parts of the domain that you might not have covered otherwise. So that's part of the process and part of the reason I do it. It's also about giving back because everything I have is because of my education. And as such, I feel that I should share that with others. Moving on to the course overview. So again, big data technologies. The idea here is to understand where the points are and how you pass this course, and better yet, just rather than just passing, how you make an A. Simply put, the deliverables are where it's at. Not to say that you shouldn't do the live faculty sessions and to take basically respond to the prompts inside of those, but 66% of your grade comes from the first 6 deliverables. The final deliverable accounts for 28% of your grade. Those two things together will give you an A, but I strongly recommend you watch the live chats. In part, that's what I'm here for, is to help you. If you are not able to join, I will be recording them and I will be posting those in the appropriate place inside of the course room. Our grading scale, pretty simple in this course. If you make a 4, you get an A, and 3, 2, and 1, and so on. You definitely want to be shooting for that A, and we'll talk about that over the term as to how you do that. The rubrics are very clear, and I do grade by the rubrics, and I will give you detailed feedback if for some reason you do not satisfy the rubric. This is basically telling you, this instructor participation, is that I'm here for you. I am highly engaged in this course. It is the nature of these courses is that I need to be able to respond back to you quickly if you have questions or challenges. So do expect between 24 to 48 hours, both to be able to receive a response. In email, typically it's much faster than that, but you'll also be seeing things graded within 24 to 48 hours as well. I feel that it's very important to get timely feedback so that you can then progress to the next level. The course requirements, this is self-paced, but you do want to make sure that you're active in the course room and that you are turning things in roughly every 14 days, or bad things might happen. Also, the first week, you need to make sure that you're meeting the attendance requirement for that first week. And with that, we've reached the end of my introduction. Again, welcome to the course. I look forward to our time together. This is an exciting topic and something that I'm quite passionate about, and I think you will be too. If you have any questions, do feel free to let me know. That's what I'm here for.